Every week on this program, we talk about strategies, Roth conversions, Social Security timing, income planning, tax efficiency, but I realized something important. Many listeners have never actually heard what happens inside a financial fast track review. What does it look like? What do we cover? How does it help someone get unstuck and gain clarity? Today, I'm going to pull back the curtain. If you've ever wondered what really happens when you book a session with us, this is the episode you've been waiting for. Today on Financial Fast Track with Tod Long.
You are moments away from finally getting the inside track on finance.
You've saved, you've done all the preparation, but when it's time to execute, you have to shift from preparing to performing.
This is the Financial Fast Track with Tod Long.
What we're going to do is take the guesswork out of financial planning for you.
Making more momentum with your money.
Well, it's been a couple of weeks. We both have had some time off over the holidays, and I think that's very healthy. Anyway, welcome everyone to Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. And Tod, how are you?
I'm good. I am well rested. It has been a minute. We've not talked since, I don't know, December or something like that.
We've emailed
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emailed a couple of times back and forth, but hadn't been on the show because of the break. And I hope you used your time wisely. I do recall you being a little bit under the weather, but
no, I used my time wisely. Going to the pharmacy to get that magic cough syrup.
Right.
I had the bronchitis and sinusitis business.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah. That sounds serious.
It was just a nuisance. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we didn't get on the
recording
on the station.
Yeah.
Is because of you couldn't talk.
Okay, yeah, it was awful. I couldn't say 3 words without going.
Yeah, I understand. I've been there.
Just terrible. But I'm glad you escaped it. I really am.
I did. But I've been in the lab. So when I say lab, I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to a lot of different things.
Computer lab.
Computer lab is what this one was. This wasn't the financial services lab, which is I'm typically in, but I was in the computer lab, just making things happen and making some things run more smoothly in my agency.
Well, that's terrific. The computer lab, now, just to let people know, Tod Long is a computer nut. He does not drink coffee. He used to run for a living, and he's kind of pretty tenacious when it comes to building things and having projects. And you were heavily involved in computers before you even started all this, right?
That is correct. I've been in my first computer I had when I was in the 3rd grade, and I gave up my $6 a week allowance for a year to get that Commodore 64.
Oh man, that's terrific! And it sat on the desktop, right? And it had a floppy that went in.
I had a 5 1/4 floppy. I had 2 of those because I had to procure 2 of those. I only got one with the system itself. It was in a DAX magazine. It was like a I don't even know how to even describe it. It just had a lot of tech in it.
Okay.
And this was 1979, 1980 or whatever it was. And so, but yeah, I got the Commodore 64. It was my dad's, obviously, magazine or brochure that came in the mail or whatever. And so I was flipping through it. I was like, oh, this looks cool. What is? And he's like, well, now his story is different than mine, but I know for a fact that I gave up my $6 a week allowance. He says, oh, he bought it for me. I'm like, yeah, you did, but I have to give up my allowance for it.
Dad, don't you remember that part?
Yeah, he doesn't remember that part because I did not get no $6 a week for after that. But
for a whole year, but you had a Commodore sitting
I had a Commodore 64. I had a 5 1/4 floppy drive. I had a dot matrix printer that went with it. Later on, I got a second 5 1/4 drive. I got a modem, and I was doing this is really going to date me. I was doing internet type stuff in like 1981.
What were you tapping into the library?
No. I was tapping into what's called BBSs. This is bulletin board systems, and that was the precursor to forums nowadays. And so you go to a forum, got all these people, talking, et cetera, et cetera. And so I was in the BBSs. And of course, I was, a video game guy, so I was going and finding ways to get, you go to arcade, you have all these arcades out there. They're on little discs, actually, read-only memory ROMs. And so there's lots of these BBSs that actually had those ROMs you can actually download onto your Commodore 64. That's why you need to have a lot of drives, because it would take up maybe 15. 15, 16 different 5 1/4 drives. And so I would have all those puppies ready to play, whatever game was live in the arcade.
So you got it for gaming purely, and then to tap into the billboards.
Yeah, tap into BBSs, and then I got into really developing. I was doing basic, and then that all that stuff that I was doing made me advance in education. So I was doing like specialty classes and whatnot, whether it be math, whether it be computers and stuff. And we had special hours for folks that were kind of a brainiacs to get into to do these things. And so I was doing it and just running circles around a lot of people because I was like, I've been doing this at home as a project.
That's a funny expression, run circles around people.
Yeah. Well, now
that's what you do.
That's what I did. I didn't run track then. I was fast, but I wasn't running. And I in high school, I was the computer club secretary. I mean, I was heavily into computers. That's
awesome. Now that's really nerdy. This explains a lot. You're explaining this is definitely defining you in a way I didn't understand before. And those who are just listening for the first time, our show is Financial Fast Track with Tod Long, financialfasttrackradio.com. Should you like to check him out there? Tod was a Sooner, and he was a sprinter, and he's still pretty fast, as you can tell.
Yeah, it's fun.
It is fun.
But yeah, that computer lab, that's what I was doing during my break. I wanted to develop, we talk about fast track financial review a lot. I mean, that's one component of my business, obviously, because I do long financial services. And in that, there's lots of different kinds of reports and strategies that I have to do because, I have a broad range of individuals that I talk to.
Right.
And they have obviously unique experiences themselves.
And needs,
so,
right.
Yeah, and needs, exactly. And so you have to come up with the right kind of customized type strategies. And sometimes, one particular format or one particular, strategy or report is not going to do the job. And so I use tools like everybody else does who are in my business. I won't mention the names of the people, but are the companies, but there's lots of them out there. And one thing that I was noticing when I was going through and doing, these reviews or having, customer, interactions and conversations, is that when I was using those tools, the content seemed really identical, right? The numbers may be different, but the concepts and the strategies, even if somebody was needing a Social Security timing review or, an income plan review or whatever, the wording was the same. I was like, man, this is not anything different. What this is not really a unique strategy or a unique voice, basically for this customer. And so I was like, man, I gotta. There's a need for me, and I started to create that. And so again, being a nerd, I know how to do all kinds of web development and everything else, and JavaScript and everything else. So I dug in on some Python scripting and some JSON scripting, et cetera, and started building out a platform that enables me to take a transcript from a conversation that I'm having with somebody from Zoom or whatever, because obviously that's tied to AI, and I can plug it into my platform. And from that, I can extract exactly the kind of report someone needs. They may need a overall report, but they may need a subset of Social Security, RMD, Roth conversion type strategies, et cetera. So I can pull all that kind of stuff together. That is fully customized to my client versus me going and taking this information and going to one of these softwares that are out there or companies that are out there and getting a more of a vanilla flavor.
Generic. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's so generic what you're describing.
Yeah.
What was offered previously until you start digging into it.
Exactly. And so that's why when I offer these things, these are really, really customized types of programs that I do. Now, I was doing kind of the generic thing up front. I'll be honest. I mean, because that's what I thought everybody did. But me, I was talking to somebody, I think it was yesterday. I like to evolve, and I need my company to evolve as well. And so, and I'm always talking about modern income strategies or retirement strategies for this show. Well, I'd look at myself in the mirror, Todd, you know what, dude, you're constantly trying to evolve. So make sure that you're providing modern technology in your business that produces the right kind of customized report for my clients. And so that's the lab I was in. And it was, I got a great platform now. It's awesome. It's specially built for me because I did it. And from there, I'm playing off of it. I got some other things that I'm working on with it.
Fantastic. Totally specialized. If I didn't give your number, 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409. It's funny that you mentioned, the modern approach, because somebody who's been doing this maybe a long time, they're, on their way kind of out. It's just fascinating what you're talking about.
So if you're listening right now and you've got accounts all over the place, or you don't know how all of these different accounts actually fit together, and you want to see how modern strategies, modern technology can actually help you bring those things together, this is what I've developed this financial fast track review. It's not a sales pitch. It's just a structured, no obligation review designed to help you step back and see your entire retirement picture clearly, often for the first time in years. So when someone comes in for a financial fast track review, here's what you're going to walk through together. A full review of your current retirement accounts. That's your 401ks, IRAs, annuities, brokerage accounts, etc. So you understand what you own and how it's actually working. We're going to get a breakdown of potential income gaps where future income may fall short and how to actually address it before it becomes a problem. An analysis of tax exposure, including how RMDs, Social Security, and withdrawals may actually impact your retirement taxes. A conversation around risk and volatility, how much market risk you're truly exposed to and whether it aligns with where you are today. And a review of income strategies and protection options that may help bring stability and predictability into retirement. The goal of this review is clarity, not pressure. So you'll leave knowing where you stand, what's working, what needs attention, and what options you have moving forward. We're opening 10 financial fast track reviews this week for our listeners right now. So if you are listening, Jackie, tell them how to get in contact with us.
888-548-0409. But it's not a requirement. He talks to people like me all the time who don't know too much about it. 888-548-0409.
Tired of financial jargon that leaves you feeling confused? At Long Financial Services, Tod Long offers clear, straightforward advice about your retirement. Understand your strategies, regain control, and get peace of mind knowing exactly where you stand. Call 888-548-0409. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
I'm so glad that you're listening. We appreciate it very much. Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. Tod the Bod, Tod the God. Sorry, I'm from the 80s, and, with Rod Stewart, we used to call him Rod the Bod, or Rod the God. So anyway, now I'm just stuck on it.
I'll give you a nickname. This is a family kid nickname they used to have. Toddy Bod.
Toddy Bod?
Yeah.
I love that.
Toddy Bod was my aunt's listening. She's the one that probably started it. And she still calls me that today.
She still does?
Yes.
My supervisor, who's a little bit younger than you, I use the name that his grandmother called him, and he just thinks I'm crazy. Funny. Okay, I love that. All right. Tod, we've been talking about some tech to do with that, over the Christmas and New Year's break. You were working on some tech to help out your potential customers, current customers, and it's all to do with report information gathering and placing that in a much easier to customize position. Is that a fair summary?
That is a good summary, yes, because a lot of the conversations that I've had, and again, I mentioned in the last segment that primarily it's been Long Financial Services, discussions, and a lot of those discussions were built around folks talking to CPAs, or they would get bits of advice from a CPA or a broker or articles online or HR departments or whatever, or Social Security Administration office or whatever. It's not really, these are all tidbits of information coming from, all kinds of different sources. And honestly, neighbors, barbers, uncles, aunts, I hear it a lot. I talk to my beautician, my hairdresser, and she's the one that tells me that I need to file for Social Security now. Well, What?
Wait, she's a nail technician. Why are you taking advice from her?
Exactly. I'm baffled by that, but
yeah. We love our nail techs. Now, don't get me wrong.
No doubt. Well, I don't get manicures or pedicures, so I do it myself.
Okay.
I think I've had some in my past, but I typically do it myself. But anyway, they have the information out there is just everywhere, right?
Yes.
And so you needed I needed a consolidated way to take this information and give it to a consumer so they can consume it the correct way. And so initially, again, I mentioned last thing, there's a lot of applications that are out there, softwares that I can use that actually tries to do it. It just wasn't as good as what I kind of built.
Okay.
Because if based on the discussion we have, and I think I probably told you this before we started, talking, is that I get the recording from or transcript from my meetings, and from that I can actually parse out exactly the detailed report that this person's going to need, and it's different for everybody. It could be, for instance, these are the reports I have. I have like fixed index annuity strategies report. I have an income report. I have a rollover IRA report. I have, if you want to do insurance, I have IUL reports, RMD strategy report, consolidated financial snapshot report. I mean, all these things are financial fast start review now. All these are, I have in this platform to where that I built that last month, were needed because a lot of companies don't have these segmented types of reports that are out there that are specific to specific needs. And in some cases, I have one that's it's a complete holistic financial plan report that actually includes a lot of these elements to where you can get different snapshots based on the discovery call, find out exactly, what you technically need. You may need Social Security stuff, RMD stuff, and risk exposure. Okay, great. I'll put that in a report and be good. Versus other advisors, well, yeah, so you can do the Social Security. I can give you a little bit of information on that, but you can go online and find something there. But I will do the RMD stuff for you, or I will do the risk exposure for you, but they won't do everything. And so that's what this platform is actually designed to do. Holistically give people exactly what they need based on a good conversation we have up front.
I love that you said that part because I feel like if you're self-directing, right, if people are trying to self-direct their own retirement plan or self-managing a retirement plan, that is on the far planets from what you're talking about.
Yes. And honestly, those folks who are doing it by themselves, DIY folks, they're probably good at one of these things.
Okay.
And there's a lot of things when it comes to retirement planning, right? They may be good at risk exposure. At least they think they are, because they have their money in the market. I've talked to a lot of people. My money is all in the market or in gold or whatever. Okay. So how's that affect your Social Security? How does that affect your RMDs?
Taxes.
How does that affect your taxes? How's that gold translate into income in retirement? They don't go down those paths. And that's what I have to do, is get people to understand that all these things are interconnected, and I have to have some sort of, now I'll have it as reports, but before I need to have some sort of tool that allows me to pull it, aggregate all this data and put it into a situation where it's consumable for a consumer.
That is really cool. Here's Tod's number. Please reach out to him. Long Financial Services is his firm. 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409. So this is, I guess, the beginning, really, of the review, right? The Financial Fast Track Review that you can offer anybody. They call and say, hey, man, I'm very interested in what you're doing and how you can help me and get the, most out of my retirement monies. Then this is where you start, right? You interviewed them in person, and then you do your magic behind the scenes. Right.
Yeah. So, and you're talking kind of the discovery call. This is the first conversation we technically have.
Okay.
And that is a highly important conversation that I now have some tech behind it.
Okay.
That I can, that's the transcript I've technically used to be able to parse out the information, because I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes they're uneasy questions to answer. And sometimes they're not. Some people are like, well, if I tell somebody, well, what's going to happen after you pass away? You got $1 million in the bank,
right?
Or some sort of, what's going to happen? Well, I didn't think about it. Okay. So do you want to go to kids? No. which happens a lot.
Does it really?
Yeah, it happens more often than not. Yeah, I want to spend up all this money.
Okay,
I was like, well,
that's now you're talking.
right. Then we have to design a program or a strategy that helps you do that.
I see.
Right. And so all this information that we pull in is really in this discovery call. And then after the discovery call, what I do is right before I do anything is I give a recap email, right, to everybody.
Okay.
And that recap email shows you what I heard about the conversation, because this is important, because if I heard something wrong or you forgot to say something or you misquoted something,
right,
I need to know that, because that data is what I'm going to use for everything else we technically do.
I see. So if somebody misspoke and they were shy at first and they said, yeah, $1 million, I don't want to, but really they have 2.5 in there,
right,
but they didn't want to, put on airs or anything, right? This is the human condition.
Absolutely.
We're talking about.
To be, protective of your privacy, which is good. I get that. Yeah. But if you are calling me on the phone, you obviously have some sort of need about something in your retirement plan.
Yes.
And at that point in time, that first discovery call is one of the most important calls you need to have with any advisor, especially me, because I'm going to use this information to be able to determine what kind of directional strategy we're going to have. And that's the second document that I actually give out. And that's the snapshot that shows, it's like a 2 or 3 page document that has pretty much everything succinctly in a document report. And it's we call it executive brief, but it's a directional strategy. The third piece is the detailed strategy report. And this is one that goes in the weeds. It's typically about 9-10 pages of information.
But it's all specific. It's not coming off of Chat GPT or something.
Right. It's all specific to that client. Mm-hmm. And that allows me to really, from there, springboard into, okay, so we see the gaps, we see the issues, we see the tax mitigation strategies, we see all the different things that are necessary in your portfolio, in your whole snapshot. What do you want to do? Because that's the next step. Okay, right. Either we engage and do some things in products or services, et cetera. And that's probably a third or fourth conversation, but that's when the rubber hits the road. Be honest, that's when we start to do stuff.
Okay, all right. So we're talking about the financial fast track review with Tod Long of Long Financial Services. Now, our show is Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. And we've covered a lot of ground already because we haven't seen each other like for weeks.
Right.
We're all like, getting all caught up. But
right.
I like that you're talking about the very first meeting. Maybe even sometime, Todd, we could do a simulation, and I could be the client.
Yeah. And I'd love to do it.
I think that would demonstrate a lot to people how exactly this goes.
Yeah. And the whole goal is the reason why I kind of want to uncover or bring back the curtain on these reviews and really my agency in general is to get people off the fence,
right?
And say, hey, you know what, this is not a bad conversation to have.
No,
and let's do it. And I'll tell you a story in a second.
Okay.
In the other segment, but
all right.
About a customer who never talked to anybody. He's like, oh my God, I'm glad I called you. I'm glad we started having a conversation.
That's good. Well, it's good to rely on professionals when it's necessary.
Right.
There's somebody told me once, well, why don't you see a professional about that? Here's the number, 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409. You got a boil on your back, you can't get to it, you better go to the dermatologist.
Ready to go.
888-548-0409. Be right back.
Feeling like just another number with your advisor? At Long Financial Services, you're always valued personally. Tod Long knows your retirement isn't about numbers on a page. It's about income you can depend on, security you can trust, and advice tailored specifically to you. Take the first step toward a meaningful conversation. Call 888-548-0409. Proudly serving Oklahoma. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
Financial Fast Track with Tod Long on the air every single week to give you some information and hopefully light a little spark in your brain to start thinking about your retirement before it's the day of, you know. You don't want to land in Todd's chair the day. Okay, I'm retired now. Help me with my money.
What do I do?
And you know, we had a little more of a ramp would help things out considerably.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if we do a financial fast track review with you, and we have that information, now the ball is in our court, how do we apply it, or what do we do next?
So a retirement plan is really only useful if people make decisions, the correct decisions over time, right? So we give each client a long-term decision framework. Essentially, it's a kind of a guidebook that tells them what actions to take throughout the year. So things like when to adjust withdrawals, when to rerun tax projections, you know, what triggers require recalculating, Social Security timing, how to manage RMDs, how to adjust your income for inflation. So all these things really matter, and they happen throughout the year. And if this happens in month 2, well, great. That's you got to have some sort of framework to be able to make those kinds of decisions,
right?
Instead of waiting until 6 months or 12 months or whatever it is to talk to me. Right. Okay. So we give these people the tools necessary, i.e. the guidebook, to be able to make these decisions long term.
I want me a guidebook. In other words, it's not a just set it and forget it deal, Todd.
It is not a set it and forget it deal at all.
Okay.
And if you're actually listening right now and thinking, yeah, I've got accounts all over the place, or I'm not sure how all of these things fit together, or even I feel like I should have more clarity than I do at this stage in my life, this is exactly what we designed the Financial Fast Track Review for. Again, this is not a sales pitch. It's a structured, no obligation review designed to help you step back and take to see your retirement holistically. And often for the first time in many years. So when someone comes in for a financial fast track review, here's what we're gonna walk through together: a full review of your current retirement accounts. That includes your 401ks, your IRAs, annuities, brokerage accounts, et cetera. So you can actually understand what you own and how it's actually working. We're going to do a breakdown of potential income gaps, you know, where future income may fall short and how to address it before it actually becomes a problem. An analysis of tax exposure, and that includes how RMDs, Social Security, Medicare, all these withdrawals may impact retirement taxes. A conversation around risk and volatility, how much risk or market risk you technically have right now, and if it aligns with where you are at today. A view of income strategies and protection options that may actually help bring stability and predictability to retirement. So the goal of this review is clarity, not pressure. So you'll leave knowing where you stand, what's working, what needs attention, and what options you have moving forward. You know, we limit these reviews each week so we can actually do them properly. We're opening 10 financial fast track review slots for our listeners this week. So, Jackie, tell the listeners how to get one of these spots.
Mm-hmm. Use the number that we have set up. I was going to say use the 800 number, but it's really an 888 number. So, but that's kind of fair. 888-548-0409. 888-548-0409. This is Financial Fast Track with Tod Long.
Retirement means a new phase of life, and managing risk is crucial. At Long Financial Services, Tod Long and his team build comprehensive strategies designed to minimize risk, generate reliable income, and help you stay proactive through every market condition. Discover what your retirement plan could look like. Call 888-548-0409. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
Welcome back to the show. Well, I've got Tod Long here. If I wasn't impressed by you before, this is ridiculous. This is bordering on, fandom here, Todd. Todd is a financial person, but also a real computer nerd, and spent his break over Christmas and New Year's not being sick like me, but spending time in the computer lab and coming up with some really great stuff. It can so help you, and it can help him drill down on the specifics, your specific needs financially and going into your retirement plan. So let's talk about inside the Financial Fast Track Review, how we turn insight into action, because indeed we're talking about digging down and drilling down and getting all the information. So there's your insight. How do you turn this to action?
Right. So we, outside of, well, obviously the first step is converting all this information to some sort of clear, informative document. And that's, again, what I've been building is that. And so from there, though, it's really about prioritization and folks have an actionable plan, based on priority. So there are sometimes you have needs. Some people, this is what people who do it themselves, they may think the priority is moving, or keeping money in the market, right? Because that's what they've always done and whatever. However, the priority probably is to, especially if you're 65 or 60 plus, is to move that money from an accumulation type of bucket, which everybody thinks they needs to be in, and you move it into a preservation type bucket. That should be the first priority. As a matter of fact, I'm talking to a client about that right now.
Oh, goody. From accumulation to preservation?
Preservation, right.
Okay.
And not because some of those folks, they tend to think that I'm telling them to move all of their money out of the market. It's not it. I would say a good chunk of your money out of the market needs to be into preservation bucket, because the preservation buckets doesn't lose money. If the market goes 20% down, 25% down, course correction, which will happen in the next 3 to 4 years, and then you're going to run into sequence of returns risks and all those kinds of things. But that's a different subject. We've already talked about it on this show. Move some of that money out of that accumulation bucket into a preservation bucket. So that's kind of a priority, right? So, but those priorities start to get developed based on the conversation and the needs of what that person is. Some people's needs are going to be different than others. Like this gentleman up in Maryland, he needs to move money out of this accumulation bucket, but somebody in Missouri may not. So it depends on that particular person. But priority is highly important. And then also the last really priority is really long-term optimization, making sure that whatever it is lasts for 25, 30 years, because that's what a retirement typically is supposed to be. The other aspect that I should mention is really those folks that have longevity in their genes, living past 95. Got to start thinking about that as well. Make sure that your portfolio is tightened enough to where spousal support is there. Somebody would pass away or whatever. Right. What happens at that point? Because I know a lot of folks who have a huge difference in age. Not a huge difference. I would say somebody's 80-something years old, 83 years old. Somebody's 69, right?
Not uncommon.
Not uncommon, right? And so I talked to a lot of folks on the phone in this scenario, and so they're wanting to make sure that their spouses are taken care of if they pass away. So their priorities may be a little different than somebody who doesn't. And that's not that situation. So prioritization is highly important, but we get that information from the discovery, and that's the information we glean from that discovery call.
That's very interesting. The longevity, that question, because I guess there's some old program that you can put that information into that's supposed to give you a result of how long, based on how old your parents and grandparents were.
Yeah.
What is that? The Monte Carlo simulation or something, or is that different?
That is different.
Okay.
But I know what you're talking about.
But I'm laughing because how do you predict how long you're going to live? There's so many factors. But
so
anyway,
many factors.
I think you are going to live to 100 for sure, Todd.
Well, I don't know that to be the case.
You don't? How long did your grandparents live?
Well, my grandmother...
Still alive?
No.
Oh.
No. She passed when I was like maybe 7 or 8. Cancer.
Oh.
Cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and as well as my mom's mom, that was my dad's mom. Mom's mom died when I was, I think when she was young, as a matter of fact. And she was raised by her grandmother. And so her grandmother lived till, I don't know, maybe 80, 89 or something like that.
Oh, the grandma was raised by the grandma.
My mother was raised by my grandmother, yeah.
What about the male side, though?
Yeah, well, my dad's mom, she's the one died when I was, I think I was 7.
Oh, at least you can remember what she looks like.
That's absolutely. Yeah. It loves going to Pom Pom's house. Absolutely. That's what we called her. I
never met any of them.
Oh, you didn't you?
Not one.
I only met the one.
Oh, that's...
Well, I met my great-grandmother, but,
What about the grandpas?
No, didn't meet any of them.
They were gone?
I did have
oh, wow.
a step-grandfather, if you will. and I'm not sure when he passed, to be honest. A lot of on my dad's side, most of my great, or not to say great, my grands, if you will, is my grand aunt. She lived until mid to late 80s.
Oh.
And we call him Aunt Dorothy. When you say, well, my great aunt, Aunt Dorothy and Uncle George, and he lived until about 90, I think. So,
well, there's some longevity there.
There's some longevity there. Yeah. So I think I'm trying to stay fit, of course.
Of course.
And I'm eating healthy, and of course I just turned 55 in last month. So
and nobody can tell that by looking at you. You know what I mean? There's no way to tell that by looking at you, because you could be from 25 to 50.
Right. Yeah. I get that a lot, but I try to stay fit.
Good skin, good genes.
Yeah. There is I don't get a lot of grays on my hair but obviously I go bald.
Oh, because you're bald.
Well, I go bald. I don't. Well, I'm going bald too, which is different. I've been bald by choice since I was a senior in college.
Because it's easy. Because you're an athlete. It was easier.
It was yeah. It was because my barber didn't. He ran track with us. His name is John Jackson. He was a triple jumper, and he didn't go to nationals. And so I didn't have a barber. So I'm like, well, I'm summertime. I'm still running. You know what I'm saying? I still got to look, I can still look a certain way. And so I just like, you know what? And he trimmed it up in a what's called a college cut back in the day. And I was like, man, I can't maintain that. I just got to strip it down. So I went bald. My coach was like, well, what are you doing? Are you a renegade? No, I'm just, it's practical.
It is practical.
Yeah. And it was awesome. I was like, yeah, I ain't got it. But now as an older guy, and sometimes I go 2 weeks without cutting.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to get that male pattern baldness.
I'm staring at the screen trying to figure this out.
Yeah, you can't. But it's right. It's like right
I
here.
see that.
Video,
oh,
yeah.
So you could go. Gosh, if you wanted to go undercover, man, you could grow your hair out.
I could, but this is just not. This portion is not growing back
as fast.
No, it's not at all, and it's kind of embarrassing because my dad still has pretty much a full head of hair, and he'll cut his hair, and he's like, he'll show me the shavings, like, you need this hair.
Oh, thanks, Dad. Thanks a lot, Dad.
Yeah, he's a joker. And also my grays really come in my beard. So of course I don't have a beard now, but I was on a video with my sister, and she said, what are you going there, Mr. Tod? I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, what's all this on your chin? I was like, well, I get, sometimes I cut. She's like, no, I'm talking about all the grays. I'm like, okay.
Listen, back off, you people. Back off.
Yeah,
well, it was Christmas. Jokes. There's no reason to shave during Christmas. You're not meeting with clients or whatever. That's fun. But so can you can ChatGPT predict our longevity?
You know what? Honestly, if there's another project that I'm working on right now with a different tool that allows me to create agents, is what it's called. And I can get this agent hyper specific on a subject. And then once I get it hyper specific on that subject, it'll obviously understand it. It'll start to learn it, et cetera. And then I can start asking questions to this particular worker or assistant, and it'll give me specific answers based on this data. It's not doing anything else. Whereas ChatGPT does a lot of different stuff.
Yes.
I can design an agent to do specifically one thing, or be an expert on one thing. And so if I chose to really dig in, I probably could find how actuaries do with their jobs at an insurance company. Get that data, plug it into this worker, program it to where it can be my actuary. And so I probably can figure it out.
It could be your crystal ball instead of those actuaries sit around and, compute numbers all day. I bet they're checking to see if they can get an exit package at their employer. Now, this is so much fun. Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. You can get your own Financial Fast Track review, which is what we're talking about. And to get you to and through your retirement, we've kind of honed in on the technical part of it, but this is fun. I'd like to know how long I'm going to live. Maybe not to the day.
Probably won't do that, but I bet you.
If we knew the age, though, then you would try to beat it because we compete. So, right, if it's at 83, then I'm making it to 87.
Right. I mean, what can I do? What can I modify currently right now And this is what I'm trying to do already, because I'm like, I want to go to a certain point to where I don't have ailments, I don't have all these different things. And I know when my parents started having some of those things, and so I'm trying to use that as a gauge, like, well, I know I'm not going to do that at age 65, right? Or age 70 or whatever. And I'm already past at this point. I know I came back from North Carolina when I was running. I'm past the point to where my parents were when I came back. And so I'm like, yeah, I think I'm doing pretty good right now, physically speaking. And so based on what my parents were at 55. So that's how I'm tracking it, because I know my parents and I know what they do, what they've done. And so I either try to modify what they've done or duplicate what they've done, depending on what the situation is.
Now, this is fun for me. All right. Here's the phone number to reach Todd, 888-548-0409, 888-548-0409, and set up a financial fast track review, get to know you session with Todd. Super easy. We've been talking about how it all works, what the mechanics are, the entire show. 888-548-0409. I think you might have a really good time. And if you're a Sooner, fine. If you're a cowboy, that's fine too. Or if you're just a real
hurricane.
Cowboy.
Or hurricane. They could be from my Tulsa.
Right, or a farmer, anybody. 888-548-0409. Be right back.
Is your retirement plan starting to feel generic? You're unique. Your retirement strategy should be too. At Long Financial Services, Tod Long customizes each plan specifically around you, your life, and your goals. For a personalized review of your retirement, call 888-548-0409. Proudly serving Oklahoma. Again, that's 888-548-0409.
Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. My voice cracked. Tod Long. I got real excited there for a second.
You're from like, what that show, Hee Haw? Was it She Haw? Sounded like Hee Haw for a second.
I've been accused of way worse in my time.
Yeah, as a kid, I used to like that show, but I hated it at the same time.
It was too corny for me.
I watched it because it was on TV. Because we had one TV in the house. One was in my parents' bedroom, and
yes.
And that was it.
And it was on Saturday on the Independent Channel, or when there's nothing else on TV, so you had to watch it.
Yeah, I had to watch that.
Yes, it sounded like Minnie Pearl there for a second.
You did.
Financial Fast Track with Tod Long. And website, I can refer you to a couple of his websites here. financialfasttrackradio.com. And that's where we have all of the shows that we have done so far. And there's super good library information if you want to hear us talking about IULs or Roth conversions or so many other subject matters. Please go there. It's financialfasttrackradio.com. Otherwise, his website is longfsg.com. Longfsg.com. All right. Now we're talking about getting some help here with this financial plan. And you talked to someone recently, and I think this is a really good example, who has never talked to a financial planner before. And he's kind of getting up there in age for this kind of an activity.
Yeah, that is correct. In one of my meetings I had late last month, as a matter of fact, it's only been a couple of weeks. We're on the phone having a conversation, doing a discovery, et cetera, kind of rapping like we're doing right now before we kind of dive in. And he told me, I've never actually talked to anybody about my retirement plan ever. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, I've been always apprehensive, but I pulled the trigger and I got on your calendar and, we started having conversations. Turns out he's 68 years old.
Okay.
He's never talked to anybody about his retirement stuff at all. He's probably relying on, I think I mentioned in the last segment, HR or internet type related, information, et cetera. And that's pretty much it. Never talk to a professional. You mentioned the boils on your back. You got to go see a dermatologist. Yeah. I mean, you gotta talk to somebody about your finances. If you want to do it correctly, or if you don't, because you don't know what you don't know if you're doing it by yourself. Right?
It is so true. It is so true.
And you may be setting yourself for a time bomb that you think you're doing it the correct way. I got like $1 million, $2 million in my portfolio, but then there's a ticking time bomb over here on the right-hand side because you're looking on the left-hand side that you just are walking backwards into.
And that's taxes.
And that's taxes. Exactly. I have some of these clients, most of my clients, as a matter of fact, because they're designed to do this, and this is just marketing, and this is how we just do it in America. 95% of their money is in the market, is in a qualified account.
What percentage?
I would say 95%. Well, that's not 95. That's too high. 90 to 92% of the individuals that I talk to have 95% of their retirement accounts in qualified accounts, which means that
is that
huge
true
taxes.
for Mr. 68 years old?
Yes.
Oh my golly, gee willikers. Okay.
Yes. And so, as a matter of fact, I got another call coming up on Saturday with another gentleman. I think it was my second or third call with him. Same situation. He's kind of partially already retired. I think it was like a long-term, short-term disability or something like that. And of course, once you get to a certain age, I think he is 65 or 66, one of the two. And a lot of people, and this is going back to on one of our other segments, people think, well, I'm just going to work longer. Well, you choosing to work longer at 60 through 63 years old may not be in the cards because the company you're working for is going to move you out. And that's kind of what's happening with this gentleman as well. He's up in Maryland, and again, he's 66 years old or so. I think that's what it is. And he can't go back to work because they're like, he's like, once you retire or your short-term disability, I think ends this month, you're done.
Oh,
so
dang.
his retirement starts the next day. So we gotta bridge gaps and everything else. And there's some scenarios we got to do for him.
Now, Todd, sorry to interrupt. I'm going to give your phone number out. It's probably prudent to do so. 888-548-0409. To reach Tod Long, 888-548-0409 of Long Financial Services. I just can't get my mind off of Mr. 68. And the reason, to answer your question, probably why he's never consulted a professional before is he has a goal in mind, doesn't he, of retiring at 70?
Yes. And more than likely...
So why would I need you? I'm not 70 yet.
He's not 70 yet, but yeah, he's got to set himself up properly. Even that's why part of my people that I talk to are pre-retirees.
Yes.
At 56, 57 years old, whatever it may be, so you can start to formulate some of the things you want to do strategy-wise long term. So when you hit that retirement age at 59 and a half or 60, 61, 62, you can get into retirement smoothly and easily versus now I'm 69 years old or 68 years old. Well, I didn't think about, I got RMDs that are popping up in 2 years or 3 years. I got to worry about that. Yeah, you got to worry about that. But if you did it at earlier on, 61, 62 years old, and you have a potluck of money in qualified accounts, we have ample time to get that money out into a Roth with using Roth strategies to be able to minimize that RMD hit that's going to happen.
Well, Mr. 68 is probably just, he was thinking, I just, it was out of sight, out of mind. I bet you anything. Because I'm going to work till 70 till my full, to get my full benefit from Social Security, even though Social Security is 67 for FRA. But it's 8% a year if you keep going till 70 for crying out loud.
Yeah. And that's can be beneficial. I think that because I only had one conversation with him, and this is, I'll be full transparency. This is one of the ones I gave all the cookies to the keys to the candy store up front.
Oh, so you gave him all the info.
I gave him all the info. So if he wants to do it himself, he absolutely can because he has the map to do it.
Oh, okay.
so I'm like, I probably should have did that, Todd. But but I was excited about my product. That's the reason why it was my platform. It's one of the first ones I actually ran him through.
Your new tech platform, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And so it gave a lot of data. And it was a good, succinct data. You can take this report and go to anybody or do it yourself, et cetera. Now, granted, there's some things you have to do with an advisor because there's products you just can't get on your own. But for the most part, it's a blueprint. Tells you everything. And
I bet you're going to hear from him again. He's going to go through some of this stuff and go, for crying out loud.
Yeah. And I've talked to clients before who do. Actually, I talked to another client. This is last year, and he is actually a client. I think he has roughly, let's call it $3 million, but they're split up into two 401ks. And one, he gave me access to, and, I did some things with it and, everything else, he's happy, et cetera. The other, he kept himself and he's wanting to do his own stuff. Mine was quick and easy. I know for a fact he's still like, man, this is problematic. I gotta go in and do this. I gotta go in and do that. Yeah, if you want to do it yourself, that's what you have to do. Or just let me do it. Let me do it all. It's easy. It's easy.
Right. I hope he gives you a call back because it's a very interesting example. But if you on the idea of the pimple popper, I watched the pimple popper lady, and people have these cysts on the back, on the neck, on the top of the head, and they're enormous. Of course, the producers of the TV show want to get the most grotesque examples of oversight, right? And she's like, well, how long have you had this? 25 years, 50 years. One lady had this big spot by her ear. And anyway, I like these gross things, but
Apparently,
are you going to wait? Yeah. Are you going to wait all that time to get the help of a professional with your financial plan for retirement? This is a finite amount of time we're talking about.
Yeah. I don't understand why folks do that, or they wait till last minute to do it.
Right. I'm getting married next week. Can you take this boil off my shoulder?
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. What we can is going to have a big scar. It's going to have a patch.
Change your dress and everything.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah, it behooves people to talk to myself or others like me early on. Yeah. To start to strategize on how to do things, and then continue that relationship, because it's not a one-time thing. I mean, one of the programs I have or reports that I have is an annual review. Every single year, you gotta take another snapshot, because things happen in 12 months. Actually, things happen even sooner than that. So technically, I do check-ins every quarter, but the actual review is over in a year. We look at this whole snapshot. If there's some things and adjustments we're going to do throughout the year, we'll do that in the quarterly. But for the most part, you got to continue to have this thing, and this is a long-term type relationship. It's not like a one size fits all, one quick fix and you're done. Right,
and this could involve things like, well, did I tell you that me and my siblings own this farm in North Carolina? And now that the grandparent, distant aunt, or uncle has passed away, I have this amount of money, or an inheritance of some other kind. And this, these things happen all the time, and that's why you're involved in an ongoing relationship.
That's correct. And that exactly happened. I was with a client in front of the financial fast track, and I think it was November. I think they had an estate sale early December. And the wife is going to get access to just that exact same thing. Yeah. There's a farm, some land in Oklahoma, got sold at auction. And so they get splitting up all the proceeds. And so this is going to be a chunk of money that we got to do something with. So that happens all the time. And so we can do things with that money. Good. Depending upon what your situation is, because I had another situation where people sold a house or sold property. Or I think it was homes. And so, but they needed to pay off bills. Right. So, let's do this to make this happen to that. But it's all specific to a client need. Right.
Of course. And there are tax implications with that, splitting up these farms. Yeah. And a lot of farmers are retiring anyway, which, of course, anybody listening to this station already knows. The average age of a farmer is like 63 years old in the United States right now.
Wow. Okay. Didn't know that one.
Oh, yeah. It's bananas. So many, just like plumbers and, technicians of all types are aging out of these jobs. So who's going to do them? Because AI is not going to be out there on the putting his hands in the dirt or changing your plumbing. Probably
shouldn't want to. I mean, if you have a good financial advisor like myself, then guess what? You won't have to.
Nope. No. So here's the number to reach out. Speaking of a good financial plan with Tod Long, and we've been looking at the entire situation, his financial fast track review, and we'll get into more of this on next week's show. I don't mean to cut it short, but I have to. 888-548-0409. Call Tod Long. 888-548-0409. And if you happen to Google him, it's Tod with one D, Tod Long. And then bring, you're going to learn all about his sprinting career. All right. See you next week.
investment advisory services offered through Tod Long, a registered investment advisor. During this show, Tod Long provides general information, not individually targeted personalized advice, and is not liable for the usage of information discussed. Exposure to ideas and products or services should not be considered investment advice or a recommendation to buy or sell any of these financial vehicles. This information should also not be considered tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a professional specializing in the fields of tax, legal, accounting, or investments regarding the applicability of this information for their situation. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments will fluctuate, and when redeemed, may be worth more or less than when originally invested. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not in any way refer to securities or investment advisory services. Fixed insurance and annuity product guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing company and are offered through Tod Long. By contacting Tod Long, you may be provided information regarding the purchase of insurance products.